Hey, Texas voters, welcome back for part 5 of the series of the 17 state constitutional amendments up for our vote this November. If you're new here, I recommend you pause and go start the series at the beginning because each video covers a separate proposition, starting with Prop 1. And if you're not new here and you're sticking it out with me, thank you. I appreciate you so goddamn much. I can make these videos all day long. I couldn't. But if I did, and you weren't there to watch them, like them, share them, comment on them, it wouldn't do anything. So without you, it's just a person talking to a camera. So truly and deeply, thank you. So I'll read you the proposition in the plain text, the little blip you'll see when you go into the voting booth, and then we'll go over the overview just to get a little bit more information, and then we'll pull up just a little bit more information to try to make it a little more clear. Now I gotta say, before I start, this one seems so silly to me. It just seems so inconsequential that I'm not sure why they spent any time writing a bill for this. Nonetheless, they did. So it's important enough for them, and now we gotta spend our time figuring out why and then having to decide on it. Here we go. Texas Proposition 5, the Property Tax Exemption on Retail Animal Feed Amendment. A yes vote supports amending the state constitution to authorize the state legislature to pass a property tax exemption on animal feed held by the property owner for retail value. Overview. What would Proposition 5 do? Proposition 5 would amend Article 8 of the Texas Constitution to add a new section authorizing the Texas state legislature to exempt animal feed held by an owner for retail sale from tangible personal property taxes. The amendment would also authorize the state legislature to pass additional eligibility requirements for the exemption. Alright, so here's some additional info. This one is specifically from the Texas State Comp Controller website. So on some of the information about it, there's a link that you can click that said, "Is food for animals taxable?" Feed such as oats, corn, chicken scratch, and hay for farm and ranch animals is always exempt. Neither an exemption certificate nor an AG timber number is required to purchase these items tax-free. Pet food is taxable. Dogs, cats, rabbits, hamsters, etc. etc., I should say. Feed and supplies used or consumed to board and care for dogs or other animals used for sport, show, and as pets are taxable. Food for animals can be purchased tax-free by using an agricultural exemption certificate with an AG timber number in these specific situations. Feed for animals raised for human consumption that are sold in the regular course of business, but that can also be kept as pets. Feed for farm and ranch work animals that have been trained to perform a specific function or task related to the production of agricultural products. Feed for breeding animals and their offspring held for sale. So a majority of the agriculture industry is already exempt from this task. This amendment would focus specifically on the retail stores that carry the animal feed. And just for clarification, if this were to pass, that doesn't mean that the retailers would be automatically exempt. That means that the Texas legislature could write bills to exempt them in the future. And just for a little bit more info on how they're currently taxed, in Texas, the property tax for a pet retail store is calculated by multiplying the store's total taxable value by the combined tax rates of all local taxing entities. The total taxable value is the sum of the appraised value of the business real estate, land and buildings, and the business personal property, equipment, and inventory. The method for appraising the retail store's inventory is based on the previous year's sales. So here's another thing to consider, right? There is no state tax on these. These are for local taxes, so that would make them exempt from paying those local taxes. So the thing is with the state not already collecting taxes on these things, but it only being the counties, cities, school districts, and special districts such as a hospital or junior colleges, it could be those areas seeing less of a revenue to be able to develop their own communities and maintain things. Which I'm going to be a little honest, I think is a little strange because especially in these areas that these agricultural industries are mostly in, these are not densely populated areas, so it's not like they pull in a ton of money. And I could get it a little more, I could understand a little better if it was a situation where they were being double taxed on these things, but business to business sales, there's no tax on that. Now the thing is no group opposes this bill. I just worry that this is going to be more of a detriment to the communities while giving the businesses a boost. Well, there you have it. There's Proposition 5. And I do worry a little bit about who's going to be making some unnecessary gains and who could possibly end up dealing with the consequences from that. And this is a side note, and I guess pretty unrelated, but when you have entire fire departments panhandling to try to collect funds for their station, I don't know, it kind of feels like you're doing things wrong. And like at the end of every video, if you have any comments, questions, or want more details, leave them in the comments section and we'll have a conversation about it.